So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the IPL Weekly College, a weekly show which brings you all the important facts and in-depth analysis of India's greatest Tyohar. Now, before starting our show about the IPL, first of all, Team Sports Psych and Team B Khas would like to pay their condolences to the great Australian cricketer Dean Jones' family and friends and the whole cricketing fraternity. Mr. Jones tragically passed away this week while he was in the broadcast team for the IPL in Mumbai. He was an absolute stalwart of the game and who, in a way, revolutionized one-day cricket. So our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. Now, before starting, I'd like to introduce the panel. We have my co-founder of Sports Site, Sangeet Agarwal, and we have the senior associate editor of the Gulf News, who is joining us from Dubai. So he is literally in the thick of things, and he can give us a better view of the IPL. So this week was a week which every Indian was waiting. India's biggest festival came after 18 months on the 19th of September with arguably India's greatest soldier, MS Dhoni, on show after close to a year. As the week progressed, the whole IPL extravaganza started building, and people started getting back to watching the game. How was it? Was it a hit? Was it a miss? How did the whole week transpire? We will discuss on this. So before I come to Sanket for the stats, first of all, I would like to take an opening thought from you, sir. That how important is this IPL actually for all Indian fans? And will it be fair to say that this IPL, in comparison to others, has to be the most important till date?
Hi, good evening, and like wishing all of you, extending my greetings from Dubai. It's wonderful to be back with you guys again. Yes, I mean talking about IPL, I don't know if it's going to be the most important IPL for the cricket fans, but certainly it's going to be the most watched IPL for the Indian cricket fans as well as globally. I mean, there are staggering viewership numbers. One thing, the first match apparently was watched by more than 200 million. That is a figure disclosed by the BCCI Secretary Jay Shah. Yes, because people had been deprived of any form of cricketing action, and especially even in these times of a raging pandemic. I mean, you can always question the wisdom of staging an IPL, but what happens is, I mean, the sport all over the world, they are run by the television moguls or the market forces. So that also demanded that the IPL take place this time. But the challenge that BCCI took, that is enormous. I mean, this is just the start, and we just hope that things pass without any major hiccups. So far, so good. So, and certainly to answer your question, definitely is going to be the most watched IPL, no doubt about
Thank you so much, sir. Now, without further ado, we come to our first segment, which is called the Stat Attack, and Sanket Agarwal will take over. So, Sanket, please do that.
Hello everyone. So like as any other IPL, we always talk about the dew present on the ground in the second innings, right? And people say that the ball comes to the bat really well and runs can get scored very easily. But this time only 25% the team has been able to chase a score. So like that's something which we can look forward to in the latter part of the season. But even after this staggering number of 75% of the teams are able to defend their score, only 88% of the times the team is choosing to bat first after winning the toss. So that was about the due factor. And then this week has been full of sixes and fours. Around 98 sixes have been hit till now, and 211 fours. That's a big number considering the length of the boundaries. People are saying that playing in Dubai will be challenging for the batsmen, but no, it is not. So, and there has been one century by KL Rahul, our Indian player, and there have been 14 half centuries. And like people were saying that spinner, this will be the IPL for the spinners, but very like almost half the number of wickets were taken by spinners, and the rest were taken by seamers. So this was a big surprise. like in terms of economy rates, we can say Umesh Yadav and Chris Jordan, even though he just played one match, these two players were very expensive. Even Jadeja was very expensive. Ravi Bishnoi, a young player, seems to be an emerging player of this season. And we can see that Akshat Patel bowled really well with the run rate, economy rate of 4 per over. And even Ashwin, even though he just bowled an over, he just conceded 2 runs and he got 2 wickets. And there have been really good batting performances this week. We saw KL Rahul hitting the century, then Sanju Samson blastering innings in Sharjah, and then we saw Mayank Agarwal, Rohit Sharma, and Ambati Rayudu in the first match. There were brilliant bowling spells like Mohammad Shami, Chahal, Ravi Bishnoi, a young player, Rahul Tewatia. He was very underrated in the match, and Ashwin, and even Shivam Dube. Now that was about the stats. Over
Thank
to
you
you,
so much.
Ayush.
Thank you so much, Sanket. So, Mr. Gautam, I would like to ask from you, like clearly the standout performance of the week was KL Rahul's 132. Now I think it's a 132. But I would like to ask you, is there any other player who stood out for you, like some unexpected player who you thought maybe could not perform at that level, who surprised you, and who you think will take their team forward in the latest IPL?
See, the good efforts in batting they have come from people with whom you associate a certain degree of class and good performance. I mean, Rahul had always been a standout performer in the IPL. I mean, he has had his 80s and 90s while playing for Kings 11 before. Last year only he has got a century. But this one stood out for a number of reasons. I think in his stat attack, that should have been there. That the highest score by an Indian in IPL. I mean, that was also quite a revelation to me. I mean, so many greats have gone ahead and played the IPL. I mean, even Sehwag has played IPL before retiring. But that goes to the credit of Rahul, number one. And if you look at others, I mean, you've got Rohit Sharma scoring 80 there. You've got Sanju Samson making full use of the short boundary length at Sharjah. You have got Mayank Agarwal who knew how to pace an innings. He thought that since wickets are falling, I need to stay till I bat till deep and give myself a chance against Delhi, and he almost did it. So there have been no surprises there. Surprises, if you ask, a bit on the bowling side, like you've spoken about Ravi Bishnoi. I mean, this guy is really is another of those under-19 India products. And he has already spent about a month with Anil Kumble, and I believe he's showing. And in an interview, he has said that I'm picking up the flipper as my stock delivery from Sir, because it's hurrying through. So you see, and he's getting the results with that. But it's still very early days. I mean, I didn't see any surprises among the top performers over the first week, except maybe Devdutt Padikkal's innings. Devdutt's innings was he gave himself that much time to get his eye in, and once he was in full flow, he was amazing. Only 2 matches have gone. Second match, when he had come in, they were looking at chasing 200 plus total, so he tried to force the pace and he gave his wicket away. So still early days. I'm sure as the tournament wears on, the nature of the wickets will also change. There is a possibility that matches may not be as exciting as we go along, as the wickets get a bit tired. But so far, so good, really. And that super over that really lit up that day. The super over, as well as the Kings 11's second win. These are the two games that come to mind.
You mentioned the super over. It did raise our hopes, but after that we have 3 dampeners. So hopefully next week we'll have more nail biters. And for me personally, as a KKR fan, the biggest surprise was Pat Cummins in the first match, and I think it must be Shah Rukh Khan's wallet must also have taken the brunt in the first match, but he did come back in the next match. So that shows what a world class player he is. Now coming to the next segment, which is the burning question segment. Now we'll talk about the questions which have been asked most people, which have come up in this week's play. And the first question, as you must be know, involves the one and only Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Why is not Dhoni coming up the order? Sir, please answer. Many people have had their take on this. Ajay Jadeja has said, "You don't win a battle by uh, by staying at the back." So he has been heavily criticized by Gautam Gambhir, which he often is. He's been Kevin Peterson has branded it as nonsense, while even Sunil Gavaskar has criticized him. Although some people like Akash Chopra have come to his defense, authority want Dhoni to come up the order. So what do you think? Why isn't Dhoni coming up the order? And should he or should he not?
See, this element of surprise, I mean, which is why people are saying that this is certainly not leading from the front. I mean, this is what we have expected of Dhoni out of that 15, 16 odd years of international cricket that he has played. But having said that, what's happening is he has given enough indication to tell people that don't expect the kind of cricket, don't expect the kind of finish that I had given during my prime now. I mean, there were a lot of ifs and buts which still go on. The argument still goes on that, if he had come up the order against New Zealand in that World Cup semi-final, what would have happened? So the problem is he's very much of his own man, and I think he's the man who runs the CSK. Let's face it. I mean, we know that Stephen Fleming is there, Mike C is there. So are there people who can really question his wisdom? That also has to be taken into account. But whatever he does, I think there must be cricketing logic for that. But there should be consistency in what he is doing. I mean, this is not the Chennai Super Kings whom we are used to seeing. Their biggest asset was their consistency, their faith in their players, which they have maintained, and that is what has given them huge results. Like I think the second match, he said that we tried these still early days in the tournament, and we tried with Sam Curran. Now, Sam, in his 3 matches, he has been definitely one of the few bright spots in the Chennai campaign so far. But if he comes in at 4, I mean, because let's assume that he needs more balls. That's a simple cricketing logic if we look at it. Then he should come in at 4. If he thinks that I need to come in between 4 and 5, let that be it. I mean, if one day he's coming in at 5, next day he's coming in at 7, then obviously the signals are going to be conflicting. And since the team has just lost 2 matches on the trot, he's going to face it. But one thing has become very clear that they are missing Suresh Raina's experience and ability to give the innings that momentum. Once in the next match, Ambati Raidu comes back, things may improve somewhat. But Raina was altogether in a different league of his own. I mean, you see, there are only 2 batsmen have scored 5,000 plus runs in IPL. I mean, one is Kohli and the other one is Raina. Even Rohit is going to reach there shortly, but he hasn't. So that explains what Raina meant or what he brought onto the table for CSK.
Thank you, sir. My next question is, like, if you answer it briefly, it's fine. What Sanket mentioned in the start attack, that we all, when it was announced that the IPL is to be staged in Dubai, everybody started talking about the spinners. The general conception the pitches will be low and slow and less than spinners. But what we have seen in the first week of the IPL is a stark contrast to what people are believing would happen. The highest wicket taker is a pacer, which is Kalisha Ravada, and pacers generally have been dominating. There has been grass on the pitch. The new ball has been doing a bit. And although spinners like Chahal and Vishnu have played their part, but generally pacers have called the shots and they have been more dominant. So what do you feel? What is the reason for this? And do you somehow feel that in the later stages, that the first half will be to the pacers, second to the spinners, or will the whole IPL be this pacer dominant?
See, what will happen very organically because, I mean, as you play more and more number of matches on this wicket, their nature is going to change. I mean, it doesn't happen like, you can't make, pitches change their behavior overnight. But one thing is very clear, like even while we were covering the tournament here, when we approached the organizers to try and get an inkling about how the wickets are going to play, because that was a point of interest which everybody kept asking. When I did a number of live shows from India, there also it was the same question. Now they said that, see, we are not authorized to speak about the nature of the wicket. We are doing our best. You will enjoy the kind of IPL that you get to see. Finally, when action began, we saw that Abu Dhabi and Dubai, they were very much similar in the nature of wickets. They have kept a speck of grass. I mean, though because of the heat, the wickets are quite dry. I mean, so there will be a fair bit of grip later on. And Sharjah is acting as a kind of foil. Sharjah, they haven't, like kept any speck of grass there. It will be a belter, but again, as the match progresses there, there can be a bit of an uneven bounce or even low bounce. Their chasing may always be difficult. So Sharjah is kind of providing a kind of foil to what Dubai and Abu Dhabi are offering. So it's very good to see, the initial week, as you said, that Mohammad Shami, Cummins in his second match, Trent Bolt, people who are genuinely good pacers, they have managed to create an impression. And I think this is the cricket we want to see. And ultimately, I get a feeling that as the tournament wears on, I mean, if you look at yesterday's game, if you look at yesterday's game, you will see that it's been a kind of KKR kind of followed. I wrote it in my piece also. KKR kind of followed an Eden Gardens kind of a template. They played an additional spinner, slowed down things, got them to about 142, and then like they worked around for their singles and all. Shubman and Ewan Morgan, they reached the target. Now it may not be very pleasant to watch, but that's what is going to win matches for you. So far, I really enjoyed the Pacers coming to the party, and I hope that there's a kind of even balance with both to play for.
Thank you so much, sir. So I think that was a lovely wrap up of the whole week that is in this IPL. The IPL weekly doses will be from every week throughout the IPL, and with experts and insights into the game. So before wrapping it up, we have a small fan trivia question, and whoever answers this gets a chance to win a gift, and one lucky winner gets a chance to be part of our discussion in the coming weeks. So the question for the viewers today is: in the history of the IPL, there has been only two Indian MVPs, which is quite surprising actually. One is Sachin Tendulkar. You have to name who is the other. You have to name who other than Sachin Tendulkar has been an MVP in the IPL, and you have to inbox all your answers to the Cast's Facebook page. And one lucky winner, as I said, will win gifts and get a chance to be part of a discussion. Inbox again. I'm repeating. Inbox it to the Cast's Facebook page. So thank you, sir, for taking out time. I know you're very busy there. So thank you for taking out time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
From your busy schedule. And thank you, Sanket, for presenting us with the facts. And thanks to our viewers for tuning in. And we'll come up with brand new content and much more insights in every week. Thank you. Stay safe and enjoy the activity.
Thank you so much, guys.